If you have been wanting to start a podcast and didn't know how, try Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They even handle the distribution of your podcast so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership required. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Did I mention that you get all of this for free? To get started, download the free Anchor app or log on to anchor.fm today. Hello, everyone. My name is DeAndrea Bolden, and you are listening to the Faith and Mental Health Podcast. This is a weekly podcast where I discuss a variety of mental health related topics from a faith-based perspective. Today's topic is 11 reasons why you should consider seeing a mental health professional. There are people all over the country, all over the world probably, that are trying to cope and handle their mental health issues on their own, when in fact they actually should be receiving treatment from a mental health professional. Now, this happens for a number of reasons. Sometimes there's stigma, sometimes there's embarrassment, there's shame, but then in some cases, some people do not realize that what they are experiencing requires proper mental health treatment. Or they will realize something is wrong, but it's like, hey, this is not like my toe is stubbed, or this is not like I broke a leg. And so they don't even know where to turn for help. Like, who do I reach out to? What do I do? I feel this way. Who do I turn to? Or how do I know that what I'm experiencing, I should go to a mental health professional? And so I want to clarify, just in case there's somebody that doesn't know, by mental health professional, there are a number of different mental health professionals typically that you can see. And so these are going to be state licensed people. And so these are usually going to be psychologists, which is typically somebody with a PhD, a psychiatrist, which is a medical doctor. They can treat mental illnesses and mental health issues and prescribe medication. You have state licensed counselors, therapists, social workers, and even certified counselors and things of that level, or things of that nature. And so I have the 11 reasons. I'm going to read them. And so the first reason that a person should consider seeking professional mental help is if they're having hallucinations. And this could be auditory, hearing things, hearing voices, visual hallucinations, seeing things, or even tactile hallucinations, feeling like bugs are crawling all over you, but nothing is there. Another one is delusions, faulty, having a erroneous train of thought, such as the government is following you around, the president has surveillance cameras in your house, delusions, panic attacks, depressed mood. And I'll go back to panic attacks because sometimes when people have panic attacks, obviously they will think they're having a heart attack. And so they'll go to the hospital, find out they didn't have a heart attack. They'll get the medication for having a panic attack, which is a symptom of anxiety, but they will never go and see a mental health professional. And so people will find that they continue to have panic attacks, where if they go to a mental health professional, they will find that things really do get better. When people are professionally trained and they specialize in something, they are able to give you the specialized help you need to get better. Depressed mood. Depressed mood as far as maybe losing interest in things that you normally enjoyed. You begin to perform poorly in school or work, sleeping more, sleeping less, declining in your hygiene. There's a lot of things. And I didn't just flat out say depression because you can't diagnose yourself with depression, but I said depressed mood because typically people know what you mean when you say that. Flashback or nightmares of a traumatic experience. One symptom that a person is traumatized and could possibly be dealing with PTSD is flashbacks and nightmares of the traumatic experience. And sometimes people also struggle with insomnia and the ability to get a good night's rest. Another one is racing thoughts and intrusive thoughts. There are people that will find their thoughts are racing. They may find themselves up for days at a time with all these thoughts. They don't need any sleep. They're just full of energy. This is definitely a reason you should consider seeing a mental health professional. Intrusive thoughts. These thoughts are causing me to feel to feel a certain way. These thoughts are bothering me, but I can't stop these thoughts from coming. Hoarding is another sign that you should consider seeing a mental health professional. And this is there, and I know there's different types of hoarding, and some of the worst types are the ones where the house is full of feces and dead animals and trash and food everywhere. But either way, hoarding still warrants you should consider seeing a mental health professional. Crying spells, crying for no reason, crying for hours at a time, just crying. Crying spells can be a symptom that, there's something that needs to be dealt with. Substance abuse. And by substance abuse, I mean abusing a substance even to the point where you want to stop and you can't. And so this is whether it's prescription medication, illicit drugs, or alcohol. Definitely need to consider going to a mental health professional so that the cycle of addiction can break and so that you can deal with the root of the issue. Number 10 is outburst of anger. And number 11 is suicidal thoughts or attempts. And so if you are listening to this, if you or someone you know is suicidal, it is vitally important that you reach out to a crisis center near you and that you reach out to a mental health professional that is able to get you the help and the treatment that you need. And so to those that are tuning in, thank you so much for listening. And so I hope if you haven't already that you will be getting registered for the Merge Faith and Mental Health Summit coming up April 24th and 25th in Peoria, Arizona at Huntington University. This event is going to have a variety of mental health professionals and clergy. And so we're going to have people that board certified psychiatrists, licensed therapists, licensed social workers. We're going to have a lot of different people there, and we're going to be tackling a lot of topics as it relates to mental health in the church. So you definitely don't want to miss that. So log on to www.themergeconference.com and check out the website and get more information so that you can be a part of this event coming up. All right, I'll be back next week. God bless.